It really goes to show the bar as well. But it's interesting to see an author praise an intelligent black character. Plays a very minor role, but the fact that it mentions that is particularly special. The reason why is, some Asian and Chinese culture is that people are xenophobic. They've been afraid of black people. The excuse, obviously it's still an excuse, but the reasoning and the excuse that's been given is, like with most cultures and countries, I don't think every country has gotten rid of racism entirely. Nordic countries are quite, xenophobic. China's quite xenophobic. Asian countries are quite xenophobic. You've got Japan. UK at times can be. America's definitely not got rid of its own. Germany, and one group of people I don't want to advertise, the French, Italians, are xenophobic and racist, against African people and like Turkish, Islamic, Middle East, and Egypt and Turkey have their own sets of problems as well. But Chinese, Asian, and Chinese people have been historically afraid of black people, or at least that's the culture. And the excuse is, their technology has advanced, but their culture has not. And here I'm going on a little tangent here, but the idea goes that part of the things that reinforce cultural norms is technology, right? When you only had half the workforce in the workplace back in the 50s and 60s, and even previously, right? It was a very male, men-dominated workplace. Not a lot of genders in the workplace. And so when you really free up the workplace, not just for genders, but for race as well, like when black people entered the economy, when German, Irish, Eastern Romanian, Eastern European peoples entered the economy, Latvian, Mexican, South American, Spanish people entered the economy, you really start to get a boost in production. And when you open that workforce up to all genders as well, I was about to say both, but I feel like in this politically, just not the right term in the moment. When you open the workforce to all genders, right? What it does is it allows cultural norms to change, right? Because when productivity increases when people are treated equally, right? Like you can't just have men being treated specially, or even just race being treated specially, because that just doesn't increase productivity. It doesn't motivate people. So cultural norms change with technology, and the excuse and the reasoning behind China's cultural norms not being up to date or just being as sensitive as the modern world, or not even modern, just the Western world, is because their technology is quite advanced, but their culture has to take the time to advance as well. But historically, you can see some of that xenophobia and racism in the Koreatown riots of LA. That's just a quick example. And a high five joke. Now, I don't know whether this is YouTube friendly. Worst case scenario, I clip it out, I cut it out. But the way the high five joke goes is, this is questionable at best, but I feel like it's quite tame and it doesn't really, it's not like super racist. But the joke goes, a black guy goes to an Asian for a high five, and he shouts high five, very kindly, of course. The Chinese then gives him $5 in the hopes that he goes away, and the black guy just looks at the Chinese guy confused. Now you can kind of see the racist, well, not even racist, the undertones, but just the miscommunication between the two. But that's generally historically how the relationship has been. There is some fear and thing. I won't get too much into analysis. You could kind of tell from the thing, from the joke, but yeah. Maybe that might not even be a joke. That's more of a story, but that I think kind of goes to show that kind of relationship. And then moving on, I was really surprised to see this is not like, well, I mean, it is, you have a male